Hello guys, welcome to another video. Singularity, Rimuru x Arifureta, by Aestics. Chapter 2. The last floor and getting out. In any case, even I can tell I'm taking this way too easily, as if I'm in a park in the deepest floor of a labyrinth. Raphael finished auto-mapping the entire labyrinth ages ago, so I could envision the scenery of the outside via universal perception and flip us there with spatial domination. However, as it turns out, the now awake Hajime and Yu wanted to first explore the final and last floor. Makes sense. When they told me their story, I almost felt guilty because of how rude I initially was with them. Keyword: almost. In short, Hajime was part of a summoned group of people from Earth. Apparently, after Raphael read Hajime's thought waves, she said it was the same as the Earth I was from. It was when I certified my resolve to assist Hajime and Yu on their journey to go back. The entertainment there is awesome. So no way am I staying in this world where there is no one I know. Now, back to business. The summoned heroes supposedly had overpowered traits, but Hajime was the only case that wasn't. He was looked down upon and discriminated by the rest of his peers for being weak. 2 weeks after that, they went to Great Orcus Labyrinth to level up. They were fine until they reached the 20th floor when Hayama, an asshole classmate of his, touched a huge shiny ore in an attempt to obtain it for Kaori, another classmate of his, to impress her. It was a trap and everybody present was teleported to the 65th floor in the dungeon. There, they saw a lizard-like monster called a behemoth that the legendary adventurer was unable to defeat. Then, he got mad at Kuki, the acting leader, who refused to abandon Meld, the commander, saying that someone should lead the panicking classmates. Hajime told Meld to help his classmates after they immobilized the behemoth. After that, their party was casting magic to kill the behemoth, but one classmate betrayed Hajime and hit him with a fireball, sending him off a cliff, much of the shock of Kaori and the others. Damn. Bro have every right to become a villain. He's basically like an anti-hero now. Later in the abyss, Hajime wakes up to see a giant bear monster and tries to run away, but his left arm is bitten off by the bear and escapes just barely by transmuting a wall to cover himself. After falling into despair, he thinks back to how he got here and becomes determined to return home and will kill anything and anyone who gets in his way. He stops the bleeding in his severed left arm and confronts a wolf monster as he stabs it to death. He then restores his vitality and mana by eating the wolf monster. After Hajime finishes eating, he writhes in agony until he realizes that the wolf meat he ate was poisonous. Deconstruction and reconstruction. His body repeated that process over and over again. The pain was so bad that he kept banging his head to the wall to pass out. When he woke up, he felt a new power and realized his appearance changed the way it is now. He only survived because of his luck to find a divinity stone with ambrosia in it. After gaining some lightning abilities from another monster, he transmutes a revolver and calls it Donner after countless attempts. He then travels in the abyss killing and eating monsters. 3 days after killing the bear, Hajime continued traveling in the abyss gaining raw material until he comes across a room with a little girl sealed inside some kind of magic box. At first, he was leaving her with the belief that she was dangerous, but after she tells him that she was also betrayed, Hajime decided to listen to her story. She says that she's a vampire and was the strongest of her clan until her people betrayed her, so she begs Hajime to help her escape. Hajime then breaks the sealed box with full power transmute. After she was freed, Hajime asks for her name, but she says that she doesn't have one and requests Hajime to give her a new name. He names her Yu. As they are about to leave the room, a monster pops up in an attempt to kill them. They have a hard time killing it, so Yu tells Hajime to trust her as she bites his neck, drinks his blood, and uses one of her strongest attacks called Azure Blaze. Hajime finishes it off by shooting a hole in it and sticking what looks like a grenade inside of it, causing the monster to explode. After a month of exploring, Hajime and Yu open up to each other on how they both fell down the labyrinth into the abyss, and Yu decides to tag along with Hajime on his journey. When it seemed like they made to the end of the abyss, they are immediately cut off by a 6-headed hydra-like monster. From there on, I already witnessed things, so it was pointless to listen. Thanks to Raphael prying into Hajime's mind, the entire thing was like a movie to me. It was a live simulation of Hajime's life playing on my mind. The final and last floor is, say, pretty unique. It's like we're already in the surface. However, these are all artifacts, as Hajime calls it. Raphael, being the skill maniac she was, started analyzing here and there as soon as we arrived. She got the details, but I said I'd listen to the reports later in the night. We went to the house and went to explore the rooms. Some rooms were locked, encrypted with a complex magical device that restricts the usage of magic. However, Raphael had a history of easily dismantling an infinitely complex number of spatial dimensions, an infinite number of imaginary spaces. Such a thing like this was easily decodified and unlocked. I always ignore the looks of shock from Yu and Hajime. Based on their backstories, I can conclude that I am totally out of place, abnormal. The rooms were a variety: a library, a workshop, an open bath, a bedroom, etc., etc. The last floor we went into was pretty different from the rest. A dead skeleton was sitting on a chair over there, and as soon as we stepped in, staged a speech about how the gods of this world manipulates the residents of Tortus as pieces in their grand game, kind of like a chess. It's similar to Guy and Rudra's game, but I couldn't tell if it was more brutal or not. Well, it's none of my business, so I began to get bored after a while. Hajime, who stepped into the magic circle present in the room, got the ancient magic, creation magic. Less than report. Analysis of the circle is complete. Creation magic acquired. The magic circle seems to assess the memories of those who stepped in order to verify whether they are truly worthy of the ancient magic which originally belonged to Oscar Orcus, the maverick of this labyrinth. Mavericks, or in real name, Liberators, was an organization which existed in the past. Their goal was to kill the mad god Ehud and put an end to his influences in Tortus. They created the 7 trials to test anyone who was worthy enough to inherit their legacy and reward them with their ancient magic should they pass the tests. Ancient magic of the Age of Gods is a group of 7 powerful magical skills that worked as the origin and basis for all existing magical concepts in Tortus. Each and every existing form of magic in Tortus is in some form a degraded version of these ancient magics. Each one of the 7 magics govern over one core concept aspect of existence and could be granted to anyone that managed to conquer any of the 7 great labyrinths of Tortus that were created by the 7 members of the Liberators who were the original possessors of them. Greater than. So, all magic in this world is in some degraded form of them? Neat. How useful is this creation magic, though? Less than received. Useless. Greater than. Oh, okay. Pretty brutal. Its nature is apparently to interfere with any inorganic material, or add magical effects to matter, shape their structure, and other stuff. Well, I can see why she's disappointed, but it's apparently regarded as a powerful magical skill here in Tortus that allows the creation of artifacts. In the language of the arts I know, it's basically the same as Modelwell. Does that mean you think all ancient magics are useless? Less than received. Cannot speculate. The ancient magic's effectiveness is proportionate to the user's ability to wield them. Although, in terms of their individual raw power, some might be noteworthy. Greater than. So, there could be powerful ones out of the 7, or all 7 combined could be powerful? I guess we should focus first on these ancient magics? Ancient magics are similar to ultimate skills, in some way, but in terms of power, ultimate skills can alter reality itself, and are born from the user's desires, so their power was on another level. You had already got it after Hajime. I also didn't mention that I already got it by directly siphoning it from the circle without stepping into the circle. Yeah, it must have been that they think I had no interest in it. We all went our separate ways after that. Not in that sense, no, I mean that we explored the house. Hajime went to the workshop, eagerly checking out cool stuff that was the stuff of dreams for Oedicus, while Yu was there for Hajime. Let me rephrase that, I went my separate way. I'm currently on the rooftop of the house, discussing things with Raphael, but mostly the results of her analysis. Less than. That concludes the report. Greater than. She's just as monotone as always, despite having gained more fluency. I looked up to the artificial night sky above me and stayed there for the rest of the night. 61 days, 12 hours, 45 minutes, 50 seconds, to be exact. That's the time we had spent in the Maverick's lair. Hajime, well, how can I say? He was a devoted Oedicus and was very passionate about his hobbies, integrating some things he learned in fictional fantasies into actual combat. In a way, he was like Veldora. Thanks to the vast array of materials in Orcus' workshop, he realized the dream of weebs. He created all sorts of artifacts. It's been 2 months since we arrived here and it went by in a flash, and it was really fun. There were certain issues, however. That is, whenever Hajime and Yu would fuck. It began on our first night, when they were bathing. They apparently lost their virginities at that time. It struck me as weird as I would normally be bashing my head in jealousy, but I merely cringed. It's so fucking awkward that it is intolerable. So, I told them to at least let me sleep before doing the damn deed. Needless to say, they just realized they were so loud and it pissed me off. Other than that, the two absolutely sucked at cooking. I also had to take care of them on that regard. They enjoyed and would fully compliment my good cooking, though, so it wasn't that much of a bother. I feel like I gained 2 younger siblings. Every day, I would train both Hajime and Yu 1v2, and they won't stop whining about how it's always unfair, but that aside, they did improve a lot and despite their complaints, genuinely appreciates it. Hajime's technical precision skyrocketed, along with his strength and arsenal. Yu's magical abilities and magical capacity also vastly increased. Because of my teachings, they began to refer to me as sensei. It made me nostalgic and reminiscent about the good old days with the kids back in Ingratia, but being sentimental once in a while isn't going to cause a problem, right? So, I indulged in it. Over the weeks, the two now completely trust me. At first, they had some semblance of wariness, but it was gone as we spent more time together. I was glad they were now opening up to me. It turns out, however, that inhabitants of this world cannot perform magic found from my world. Generally, it is impossible to use it without using the magicules found in my world. In my case, I directly use my own magicules to create the magic I am familiar with. The mana here and the magicules I'm familiar with is different in so many ways, so it is understandable. 2 types, both universal substances. Their concentration, and generally their system is different. In the cardinal world, magic is picturing something and then creating it in reality, producing an effect in accordance with a specified law. It is the embodiment of an idea. While in this world, magic is the production of a phenomena by replicating downgraded effects of ancient magics, which controls the fundamental elements governing the world. It also has tangible cores, that is the essence of the spell. Interestingly enough, similar to me, Hajime gains strength by eating monsters. In his case, it's really and literally eating in the very definition of the word, as in digesting. He then gains a portion of the monster's stats and skills. When he consumes a considerably strong monster, however, he experiences pain, likely because his body reconstructs itself to adapt. A good 2 months, and it's now time to leave. We already discovered the secrets of the world during that time period, and we are now on our way out. As for our appearance, I didn't change much, neither did you. I just had some black jacket and white shirt accompanied by black pants and shoes. It was one of the outfits Shuna made for me, and it was bathed with so much of my demonic aura that its energy levels alone can equal that of Hajime and Yu. Yu's, meanwhile, consists of a frilly white dress shirt and a black miniskirt with frills. She also wears a white coat with a blue lining as well as a short pair of boots and knee-high socks. Now for Hajime. I'm trying not to laugh at him this time. Hajime's adventure outfit consists of a black coat with crimson-colored lining, coupled with a gray blazer and a white shirt underneath it, along with a cravat terminated by a ring tied around his neck. He wears black pants that have gun holsters attached to them, as well as knee-long black boots. His appearance is now fully like an anime character, something he is painfully aware of. And the craziest part is that, he cut his arm once again and gauged his right eye. What the fuck? Is this guy crazy or what? Hajime's reasoning was that it was gonna make him more powerful. He made an artificial arm made of Azantium, the hardest ore in existence, and an artificial eye made of divinity stone to compensate for his lost body parts. By that logic, why not make your entire body a cyborg? Since it was his choice, I couldn't really stop him. His appearance is the kind that might have spouted cliched lines like, "Be still, my sealed left arm." As Hajime began activating the magic circle on the 3rd floor, Hajime quietly spoke. "You, Sensei. My weapons and our powers are probably considered heresy to the Holy Church. I doubt they or the various human kingdoms are going to just let us roam free. Yeah. They'll ask us to give up our artifacts or try and force us to help them in their war. Yeah. If it was just humans we had to deal with, it wouldn't be a huge problem, but those crazy gods pulling everyone's strings are probably gonna be after us too. Yeah. We might end up making the entire world our enemy. No matter how many lives we have, it might not be enough to come out unscathed. Yeah. It'll be fine. I'm the strongest, after all. So what?" Hajime smiled at our unconcerned responses. After a moment, he took a deep breath, then spoke aloud his hopes and convictions in order to carve them into his soul. I'll protect you, you will protect me, and Rimuru will protect us. As long as we watch each other's backs, we'll be stronger than anyone. We'll beat down anyone who stands against us and bust our way out of this shitty world. Sokka. Yeah,